The king stood alone on the palace balcony, his fingers gripping the cold, unyielding stone railing as he scanned the distant horizon. Behind him, the royal council chambers hummed with the sterile talk of politics and the upcoming union with a foreign princess. It was a world of cold marble and colder hearts. Seeking an escape from the suffocating weight of his title, the king slipped into a rough, commoner's cloak and vanished into the bustling marketplace below. There, amidst the smell of spices and the noise of the crowd, he found something real. He stopped before a young woman named Elena. She held a simple charcoal stick, her hand moving with a grace no queen could mimic, sketching a laughing child on a scrap of parchment. The king watched her, mesmerized. She was capturing a pure joy that his golden crown could never buy. He stepped forward, and for a fleeting moment, they spoke not of power or lineage, but of the way the golden light hit the city spires at dusk. Over the following months, the marketplace became their secret sanctuary. They sat by the ancient stone fountain, trading stories of dreams and simple beauties while the king forgot the crushing weight of his throne. Helena did not see a monarch. She saw a man, but the world of duty was never far behind. Soon, the royal guards blocked his path, their steel armor a harsh reminder of the marriage treaty signed in blood and gold. He was a prisoner of his own lineage. Forced to choose, he chose the crown, wedding the princess as the council demanded. But the cold palace walls could not contain the shadow of his longing. Driven by a heart he could not silence, the king carved a secret tunnel beneath the castle floor, stone by agonizing stone. Under the silver light of every full moon, he would crawl through the darkness to meet Elena in an abandoned, vine-choked garden at the edge of the grounds. They sat on a mossy bench, the air thick with the scent of night-blooming jasmine, whispering of lives they could never lead and a freedom that was just out of reach. They were two ghosts haunting their own lives. However, the council grew suspicious of the king's frequent late-night absences. They whispered in the corridors, their eyes following his every move. They began to track his path through the dark tunnels, waiting for the moment his secret would finally be laid bare in the moonlight. The peace of the garden was shattered as the council and guards stormed the sanctuary. Torches flared, casting long, jagged shadows against the vines. The guards seized Elena, dragging her toward the dark dungeons. "Stop!" the king roared, throwing his royal signet ring into the dirt at the councilor's feet. "Take it all, my treasury, my gold, everything for her release." He stood between her and the blades, a king reduced to a desperate man. The head counselor stepped forward, his hand resting firmly on the hilt of his sword. "A king who bows to his desires destroys his realm," he declared with cold finality. The air was thick with the threat of execution. Elena looked at the king, her eyes filled with a devastating clarity. She reached out, her fingers brushing his face one last time, a silent goodbye that cut deeper than any sword. She saw the war he was losing. She slowly shook her head, refusing to let him destroy his world for her. Without a single word, she turned away from him and walked into the darkness of the guard's escort, her head held high, leaving the king standing alone in the dirt with his discarded ring. The silence that followed was the loudest sound he had ever heard. Decades passed like a slow tide. The king sat upon his throne, his hair now white as winter and his hands trembling with age. He had built grand monuments and expanded the borders of his realm, yet his eyes remained fixed on the garden door. Every night, he walked to the mossy stone bench, placed a single white rose upon it, and turned back to his empty, echoing chambers. His reign was a success, but his life was a hollow shell. Upon his death, a parchment was found. A king can command a kingdom, but never his own heart. Now, when the moon is full, travelers see two faint figures in the garden, their fingers laced together at last. Finally, they are free.